Hello. Thank you for joining us on this afternoon, evening of a crazy day. Are you guys tired? Are you there?
Are you there?
Is there anyone behind the eyes? I'm just kidding. Hey, we're so excited to have you here to talk about Azure SQL Hyperscale and building scalable AI apps with it. Thank you. My name is Anna Hoffman. I'm a product group manager on the SQL team, and I'm joined by Aditya, who's also on the SQL team. And today we'll also have the pleasure of being joined by two customers, actually three people, from Hexagon and BlackRock. So I think you're really going to like this session. Hopefully we'll be able to keep you engaged and active before you go to the AMD party that's after this. Now, today, probably you heard, but if not, I will share today, with SQL Server 2025 and SQL Database in Fabric went generally available today, Microsoft is continuing on its mission to deliver one consistent SQL from ground to cloud to Fabric. And the point here really is to empower you to innovate at your own pace using similar SQL tools and skills that you have and manage data seamlessly. With one SQL, developers can develop once and deploy anywhere, and taking advantage of enterprise properties like performance, security, and AI-ready capabilities everywhere your data lives. All right, so today we're going to focus on Azure SQL Hyperscale and how you and many customers, some of them which are going to come on stage shortly, are using it to build scalable AI apps. All right, now Hyperscale, how many folks know about Hyperscale? A couple. OK, awesome. All right. Hyperscale is a service where we essentially took SQL Server apart and we rebuilt it to be a cloud-native service, leveraging the best of SQL Server and the best of running in the cloud. So it has the same SQL engine. This enabled us to build you a service that is great for small workloads. Don't be misled by the name, as well as unpredictable workloads, as well as some of the most demanding workloads on the planet, from a size, throughput, or read scale perspective. Now, you might be wondering, with all that, how do you get such a great price performance and still be a proprietary database engine? That's the best part of Hyperscale. Hyperscale is the only tier that is actually license-free, enabling you to get the performance of SQL at the price of open source. So with that, I'm going to pass to Aditya, who's going to show you a bunch of details and bring out some awesome customers, show you some demos, and have a great session.
Awesome. Thanks, Anna. Hey, folks. How tired are you? All good? Got some coffee? Yeah? OK, let's jump in. So my name is Aditya. I'm a product manager for Hyperscale, Azure SQL in general. So as Anna said, let's get deep into Hyperscale, what is it, and all about that. Now, today you might have heard SQL Server 2025 is GA. And there is a small caption underneath it saying that it is a AI-ready database. While it is an AI-ready database for sure, that's the same engine we got everywhere, which means Azure SQL Hyperscale is a database which is built in cloud for scalability and for all of your AI apps. Now, what are the few things that you can really expect from Hyperscale? Hyperscale is highly scalable. When I say highly scalable, what exactly I meant? I meant it means you can go from, you can create a database anywhere of 10 GB, and you can go till 128 TB. 128 TB again. You can go from 0 to 128 vCores. And you also not only vertically scale up, that is going to 128 vCores, you can also horizontally scale out, which means you can add 13 named replicas to this one primary replica on the same storage. This is all scalability. Now, coming to performance, we also built this service as a highly performant database. How did we build it? We built it by multi-tiered cache architecture. What do I mean by that? You have caches for your hot data in your compute and in your storage layer. What does it do to us? It gives you sub-millisecond latencies, read latencies, and also it also gets you higher log generation rate no matter which compute you are on. This is an architecture which is highly disaggregated from compute and storage. And as I said while I started talking, it is an AI-ready database. It is integrated with Microsoft Foundry. It is integrated with semantic kernel. You have vectors, vector data types inbuilt into SQL engine. We also announced disk ANN index today, which means all the capabilities that you need to build an AI app is readily available in your database. Finally, even if I say all of these things, right, one of the thing that actually matters is bottom line, that is cost. We know that cost matters to the customers. That's why it is license free. You don't have any IP cost when you come onto Hyperscale. All you pay is compute and storage, what you use for. And you also have tips and tricks in the bag like serverless or elastic pools. We can go look into detail when we get to that stage. And that you use all these techniques to make this Hyperscale offering even cheaper for your particular use case. Finally, I don't know how many of you read Charlie Bell, our EVP's blog. Microsoft is secure future first. We really believe in having a secure applications, and that is the same even with Microsoft SQL and Azure SQL too. So all this platform is highly secure and reliable. Now, what made this architecture come down? This is the architecture of the Hyperscale, right? Just to make sure, I'll spend like 1 minute in here. You have one compute, which is for read-write application, okay? That is your primary compute. And that primary compute have 4 HA replicas. That is only for your high availability. And apart from that, you have 13 named replicas, as I said. For that, there is a common storage. This common storage is not on blob storage, which is slow, and hence we kept it in something called page servers. Page servers are the place where all of your data is resided. It is chunked in 128 GB, and it can go till 128 TB, which means if you create a database, it starts with one single page server, and it will go till 128 TB. All these page servers also have a faster SSD disk in them. And finally, the durability of this data is in Xstore, or the Azure Blob Storage. Azure Blob Storage is the place where your final durable data is there. Now, because it is in Azure Blob Storage, we can take the benefit of being in Azure Blob Storage, which means we can use file snapshots, which means faster storage snapshots to take the backup of the data. Now, what does this do? What does this mean? Because storage is taking the snapshot, compute is not really involved in taking any backups. That means whenever there is a backup, the compute's performance is not being suffered. All the snapshots are pretty instantaneous. Because snapshots are instantaneous, you can restore also pretty fast. Now, that's the entire architecture that we built. And by the way, all of this is still under SQL, the same language, the familiar language that you have. And also, as I said, Hyperscale is a ready database. Like I kind of said like 3 times till now. The reason why I'm saying that is we kind of made sure Hyperscale as a database is kind of highly tightly integrated with entire Azure ecosystem, which is making sure that you developing AI apps is extremely easy. We have inbuilt vector types, as I said. We have tight integration with Microsoft Foundry, AI search, AI ML. Now, to really tell about this story, I would want to call upon one of our esteemed customers. Hexagon is our customer, and they are a partner with us. They are the UK-based customer. They are really, really good at giving us feedback. I have the privilege of having them on stage. Ross and Dmitry, please come onto stage, please. Yo.
Aditya.
Hey, Ross.
Thanks.
Glad you're here. And
thanks for having us.
Yeah, and tell me something about you, and tell me something about Hexagon.
Sure. So my name is Ross Jenkins. I'm Exec Director of Software Development for Hexagon ALI, and my colleague here is
I'm Dmitry. I'm the AI guy. I run software development with AI-powered features.
Awesome, awesome.
And yeah, thanks very much for inviting us. We're always excited to come and talk about the cool stuff we've been up to over the last few years with Hexagon. So Hexagon is a global leader in digital reality solutions. The bit of the company that me and Dmitry work for is called Hexagon ALI, and that stands for Asset Lifecycle Intelligence. What does an asset mean in that context? It's some huge piece of complex infrastructure, like a power station or a chemical plant or an oil refinery. So our customers have lots of these assets. And so they also have long life cycles. And they're revenue generating. So any problem with these assets is a big deal. So what we want to do is help them to run as smoothly and as efficiently as possible with very little downtime. So our customers are very document-centric. So over the life cycle of those plants, lots of different documents of different types will be generated. So 2D and 3D designs, as you can see on the screen there, from the initial design phase, and then construction plans, operations manuals, production reports, and these are all really important. So you can imagine over a long time and over a lot of assets, customers will have millions of these documents and files to store. So that's the first thing, they're very document-centric. But the other part of it is the way our customers think about the world is in tags, right? So a tag is anything you can fix a physical small tag onto. It could be a pump or a valve or something like that. And these tags will have a unique ID on them. And the reason they have that is that our customers have to track metadata about that thing, whatever it is, across the whole life cycle. Who manufactured it? Who installed it? When was it maintained? All these things. And so again, over many assets, over many years, they'll have millions upon millions of these tags to organize and a huge data sets. So our mission, if you like, is to streamline that operation and simplify it for our customers to give their assets a good long life. So Hexagon SDX2 is our modern digital asset management solution. It's built on 20 years of innovation. So it was originally Smart Plant Foundation back in the day. And then through SDX, what we've been doing the last few years is modernizing it on the Azure platform. So breaking those monolithic components down into microservices and micro front ends. And so we host all the application parts in Azure AKS and Azure Front Door, and that serves our customers around the world. And then on the back end, for all those huge data sets, we use Azure SQL Hyperscale.
Okay. Now, let's talk why you picked particularly Azure SQL Hyperscale as your choice.
So we'd always supported a SQL Server on-premise. So it was very familiar. It was very easy for us to transition to that. But probably the main reason is those huge data sets. So the great thing about Azure SQL Hyperscale is that the storage expands automatically. Our customers will ingest massive amounts of data, so you don't want to be laying awake at night worrying that they're suddenly going to run out of space and you have to go change a disk or something. We really can't have that. So there's that side of things. The automatic storage expansion is a killer feature for us. But the other thing is resource utilization. In the old days, we would have to kind of provision for peak load all the time because you couldn't scale it without downtime. But now what we can do, because our customer load is quite bursty, is we can scale it up and down as we need to. So during their initial ingestion phases, they'll need loads and loads of compute. But day to day, really, they don't need so much for interactive usage. And the other thing is their performance, right? We have a kind of dual problem. On the one hand, customers want to ingest a lot of data into our system. But on the other, they need to be able to read data out for existing assets at the same time. So one of the great things about Azure SQL Hyperscale is the ability to offload work onto read replicas and things like that. So that's great for us. And finally, cost efficiency. So we operate a tenant per database model. So that means we have hundreds of databases to manage. So with that, we use elastic pools to help us do that. And what that means is that for our different customers in the same parts of the world, we can share infrastructure and share cost, and it makes it a lot easier for us to manage as a company.
Awesome, awesome. So you got cost efficiency with elastic pools, you got high performance, and for sure, you're not waking up in the night because of elastic storage. That's a great story, Ross. Now, going on to you, the AI guy, how you used Microsoft Foundry and how the Azure ecosystem really helped you folks?
All right. Yeah, Microsoft Foundry, I already heard a lot today in other talks. That's been a hell of a day, and I'm happy to share our story. So unlike SQL, AI was new to our solution portfolio, to our SDX2 product, and we wanted to focus on a key challenge for our customers, which was really sound. And that challenge, the first challenge was our customers were spending weeks onboarding facility documents. And they wanted them to be tag-centric. That essentially means extracting tags from all these engineering drawings, documents, scans of all the facilities, and that's building knowledge graph. So Azure AI Stack gave us the breed of right tools. We started with developing our own AI model, and there Azure Machine Learning was essential. It allowed us to set up full pipeline from training, through evaluations, through production deployment. Then we focused on the accuracy, so we want the best for our customers. We reinforced it with Azure Document Intelligence. So there is a layout analysis model, works really great also on the complex engineering drawings and even hand-drawn layouts. Then comes the OCR part. OCR model, there are a lot of old facilities that customers on board, scans of questionable quality, also a lot of handwritten notes, and OCR just worked remarkably from Azure DI, worked remarkably with those. It was unexpected by our customers, so whenever we show it to them, there is a wow effect. That's really cool. Then technology evolved, LLMs came out, and we had the privilege to get direct access through Azure OpenAI to the frontier models. Right. And the most important thing, it's cost efficient, and it's enterprise-grade data security and data privacy. In our case, it's very important. This allowed us to enrich our knowledge graph with document metadata. So this piece of functionality builds knowledge graph, so documents are onboarded, knowledge graph is built, so what's next? The next challenge is, okay, customers, they actually need to access this data fast and in an easy way. So for this, we've been building an industrial AI assistant. It's an agentic system, agentic AI system, based on the graph rack principle. And there, Microsoft Foundry. It answered all of our questions. So starting from guardrails, evaluations, all the LLMs, we could compare different LLMs depending on the agent, take stronger one, weaker one, smaller, different deployment modes, depending on the region, all that very, very well stitched together, integrated, and it deeply integrates with the Azure ecosystem, including the data. Thus, all in all, Microsoft Foundry, the ecosystem allowed us to bake decades of our industrial domain expertise into fast, intelligent, and truly scalable solutions.
Awesome. Now, in your words, how can you please help us understand how Hexagon really transformed with Hyperscale and Azure as a whole?
Okay, I'll start with the AI part. AI, okay, it's not a magic bullet, but it had a really profound impact. This challenge that I mentioned, Ross also mentioned about the volume of data. These weeks of document onboarding, creating tags, creating knowledge graph, manual effort, very, very hard, error-prone. It was brought down to hours thanks to the highly automated AI-powered process sitting on top of the hybrid of technologies delivered to us through Microsoft Foundry. Then the next part is we are bringing the brand new technology or brand new capability to our SDX2 product. It's industrial AI assistant. So customers can actually query in the natural language. They can talk to their data, all these massive volumes, all very complex. Thanks to the graph rack concept, they don't see the complexity. The complexity is hidden. They can benefit with the business insights.
Sure. So from a scalability and cost efficiency point of view, I mentioned that we'd spent time breaking up those monolithic components, and that's been huge for us because it's meant that we can deliver fixes and features to customers much more quickly than we ever could with an on-prem solution. You know, something that would have taken us days or weeks before, we can do in hours now, and it frequently amazes customers who are getting these fixes so quickly. But the other thing is because we're able to deploy independently now, we can scale independently too. In the old days, we had to provision for peak load all the time, and that's expensive, right? But now we can scale in and out horizontally, and it works much better for us. The other thing is with things like front door, we have customers everywhere, and so front door helps us cut down that time for first rendering on the screen of our product and things like that, which again is transformative for customers. So it's been great for us from that respect. From a data security and elastic storage point of view, Azure SQL is secure by default. That's the first thing to say. It has all this great built-in security, transparent encryption. Everything we have is locked down on private VNets, so we can do that with private endpoints built into Azure SQL. So that's been amazing for us. But also the elastic storage thing. Customer data sets are tens of terabytes in size and getting bigger. We're dealing with some of the biggest customers, or biggest companies rather, in the world. And so being able to build on that platform and being confident that it will grow with us, it's really, really important for us. So yeah, Azure's been key to our transformation, I would say. It's improving all the time. And what it's meant is that we can deliver innovation for customers at the speed of a startup, but actually in an enterprise environment. So yeah, it's been great.
Awesome. This is really great to hear from you, Ross and Dmitry. Thanks for coming, and it's a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So you heard it from them, right? So Hexagon, as a company with millions of documents, need to process super fast, have chosen Azure SQL Database Hyperscale, not just for the high performance, not just for the expansion of the storage, elastic storage, but also making sure that they sleep, their DBAs sleep in the night. So that's the reason why they chose Hyperscale. Now let's look at one more scenario, right? So where we are using Hyperscale for AI-powered apps. Dmitry showed you how the close integration of Microsoft Foundry helped them transform and get their AI apps done in their SDX2 application. Now think about this. How about really building most of your AI stuff inside the database? That's what we will look at. So imagine there is a legal firm, and that legal firm, all that legal firm does is do the patents, which means you have a patent, you go to this legal firm and say, hey, I have a patent, I have an idea, I want to do the patent for this. All they do is they will search the list of the patents that they have, and they will come back and they say, okay, you can file this patent, there is no similar patent like this, and they, if not, they will say, oh, sorry boss, we already have a patent like this. So what they do, initially they used to use a traditional database, and then they had all the scale problems. Let's look at their business goals and technical goals that they have. The business goals that they have is because they have a lot of patents and similar patents, they really want to make sure they discover their patents in a better way. You kind of understand where I'm going, right? So what does a patent have? A patent has all the text in it. They have titles in it. If you see the architecture once again, they have all the documents. A data ingestion service reads that document and puts it into the database. That's what they do. Now, the problem that would have with the traditional way of doing it is when you give a query and you say, hey, I want electric car, that's my patent, and I gave that patent to this legal firm. They search with the word electric car. What would they get back? All the documents with the name electric car in it. Does that mean anything to that? Either there are two problems. One, you get a lot of documents. Two, it takes a lot of time for the legal firm personnel to go through all those documents to say whether the patent that you have given is equivalent to the patent that the new patent that is being filed. So that patent discovery is their important goal, and improving the decision accuracy. It comes obviously. If you don't have a better way of searching, the accuracy will be lost. Now, the technical goals are, because of the lot of ingestion of the data, you have to go have a database which can scale automatically. Like it needs to scale more than 100 terabytes at a point of time. And it needs to be optimized at under load. And the other thing is they also have a technical goal of giving their API to across to all the people such that the read replicas, they can separate their writes and reads. Now, let's see a demo of what they are doing. Here, for the purposes, what I did is I took all the patents that Microsoft has, and I created a table called grant_Microsoft. If I create in that grant_Microsoft, all I have is abstract, title, and the grant ID. The abstract has all the body of it. Title is the title of the patent, and the grant ID is the actual ID of that patent. Now, in the traditional way, as I said, what do you do if I have to file a patent for memory grant? So, and I was trying to search for the patent of memory grant feedback. I go and query memory grant. How many of the people here used full text search prior? Anyone? Yeah. You might know contains, right? Contains is the word you use for the full text search. Like you say memory, you say grant, and you kind of search with it. Look at how many results that you get. You get almost 2,200 results with that memory grant. That essentially means that legal personnel has to go through all these documents for me to come up with that. Let's say even I give you a paragraph and say full text search with that, then also I might really get a lot of documents to go search. Now, how do I solve this? People, you are here, you might have gone through a lot of AI sessions. It's not a surprise. You should keep a embedding column in it. How do I add an embedding column? Let's look at that in a different section. But all I did is I added an embedding column into this table. That is abstract vector ada2 is my embedding column. For the people, for the starters, what is an embedding? And the embedding is just nothing but a floating point number for the title, for the text that we have given. There is a model which essentially looks at all the title and the abstract, converts into floating point numbers and gives it. Why is it important to have embedding column in this scenario? The reason why you need to have this is you can start doing semantic search, which means you're not searching for the keyword called memory grant, you're searching for the meaning of it. Once you start searching meaning of it, you might find more relevant documents and hence increasing the accuracy of the patent discovery and also time of the discovery. That's the reason why we added that embedding column. Now, you might tell me, dude, this embedding column from SQL, what all I should do? I will show you. It's so simple with SQL Server 2025 and with Azure SQL Hyperscale. All you need to do is make sure that you are creating a scope credential, because you need to do this extremely securely using managed identity. Then you create a model. We call this as creating an external model. Here I created this model called ada2 embeddings. What I did, I used the OpenAI text embedding ada2 model. I said, this is the model that I want to create. This is the URL for it. This is this credential that you need to use. If you are a DBA, if you are someone, you would look at it, you will create this model and say, tell your developers, hey developers, go use this model. And what can developers do with that? What they can do is, all they need to do is use this function called AI generate embeddings. That's pretty much it. AI generate embeddings tell what are the columns that you want to use the embeddings to be done, and say use this particular model to generate me embeddings. Now, with this, what happens is you can essentially generate embeddings for all the data that you have in your table with a simple function. That's the power that Azure SQL is giving inside the database. It's not any external, you might call external model for it, but inside the database you have all the functions to make it easy to call the external model. Now, is it just calling the data? Okay, I called it and I got all the embeddings and everything is fine. Now, what about the speeding, what about the performance of searching this particular embeddings? Yes, that's also pretty important. For that, we have, right now it's in the public preview, which is disk ANN vector index. This is the disk ANN means approximate nearest neighbor is the vector index that we have got into. Azure SQL has this index right now. What this index will do is it will give you the results super fast for the embeddings that you have already created. All you need to do is create vector index. It's all the syntax that you know. But the only thing that you might need to add additionally is type and metric into it. What it will do, it will create a index called vector index that is kind of differently looking than your normal index. Your normal index looks like the B tree, whereas vector index looks like a triangle stuff. Now, let's look at what this vector index essentially does, right? If I want to see what this vector index does, first you need to make sure whether I created that index. Yes, there is an index called vector. And what is the metric that I'm using? Cosine. What is the type of index? It is this KNN. Now, that is the vector index that I created. If I just generate the embeddings, I would take almost 180 milliseconds to get that. Now, if I use this function called vector search, which essentially uses the KNN vector index, and if I search within the table, I am only using 6 milliseconds of CPU time to get you the results. This is super fast because of all this being fast is because of this KNN. And I'm open for your, if anyone has questions on this, I'm open to take it post this talk. Now, how Azure SQL Hyperscale kind of solved the problem, right? You kind of understood. With vector indexes, with the AI generated embeddings, you have the semantic search possible. Because semantic search is possible, you could all the patent discovery and assessment can be done proper. With the hyperscale, you can go till 128 dB. You can add name replicas and make the performance possible. Now, the next thing that hyperscale is, one, it is AI ready. It is an AI ready database. Two, it is also an enterprise ready database. For what does enterprise really want? If you heard Ross, they want performance, they want availability, they want security, right? Let's see what all we did recently to get through this, right? We kind of increased the database auto scaling to go to 128 TB, that is 25% more. We also increased the generation rate, the log generation rate. That means how fast you can put the data into the database, 50% more, which is 150 Mbps. We also made sure that there is something called continuous priming in Azure SQL Database Hyperscale. What does that mean? Let's say you have a database, a primary replica, it fails over to 𝗏_replica. What happens? The initial few minutes, the performance will tank because you need to go fetch from the remote storage. What we did is we continuously prime the caches of the 𝗏_replica such that your performance will not drop even after even after a failover. That's what we do. So performance and the availability is being taken care. And the other things that are very important is cost management, which essentially comes from things like serverless, where when you have a bursty workload, you use serverless kind of stuff, and you have a tenant per database, then you use elastic pools. If you want to use multiple databases and you want to make sure you want to have cost management for that, cost optimize for that, you use elastic pools. Now that I said a lot about enterprise AI-ready databases, enterprise-ready database, Azure SQL Database, let me call upon BlackRock, Britt from BlackRock, who essentially talks more about enterprise-ready. Hey, Britt,
thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks a lot for joining.
Yeah, no, proud to be here representing BlackRock and the partnership with Microsoft. You know, BlackRock, we're a fiduciary partner, and that means we put our clients' interests first. And we have a history of continuous innovation, both in our financial products and in our technology products. And our technology platform, Aladdin, provides a whole portfolio view to our institutional clients that gives them advanced risk analytics, exposure data, and its stability is our first and most important feature. If Aladdin isn't up, if it isn't functioning, none of our other capabilities matter. So it's really that combination of continuous innovation, long-term trust relationships with our clients and with our partners, as well as a focus on performance and a focus on stability that's really made Microsoft and Hyperscale DB just a great fit for Aladdin.
Okay, let's frame the problem for all of us, right? What is the exact problem that you were looking for Hyperscale need to be solved?
So Aladdin consists of a large number of different products, and many of them are related to critical functions like trading. And trading needs to be up 24/7. It needs to perform with a very well understood, very well consistent response times, and it needs to follow certain transactional semantics. It needs to integrate with our existing systems. And high availability is just critical. You mentioned the cache priming capability. We don't want to be impacted by a zone outage, by a VM failure. We need to be continuously up, and we also need to focus on as close to zero data loss as possible, regardless of the scenario. And we need to be focused on a future-forward platform, something that is built for the next generation. Aladdin is an agentic system now. It integrates with all of our AI ecosystem. We need a platform that can support it. And we're always relentlessly focused on providing the best price performance we can, because we're, again, a fiduciary. We're trying to make sure that we can scale down, scale up, depending on our client needs.
Awesome, awesome. So let's see how Azure SQL, I know you started putting your applications onto Azure SQL Hyperscale. What's your experience? How is it solving the problem that you had?
So Azure SQL DB Hyperscale has really hit each of the different marks for us. And to go point by point, the fact that it is both a horizontal and scalable platform means that we can scale out, we can scale up. We can add more cores into our elastic pools, and we can also scale out. So it supports the largest use cases, but it also scales down close to zero. So for our smaller use cases, it's still a fit, despite the name, Hyperscale. It's a fantastic fit for our smaller use cases. And things like the fact that it runs within our own tenant environment, the fact that it's all within our own existing client environments means there's no separate SaaS agreement. It's part of our existing PaaS arrangement. The fact that it has no additional license gives us fantastic price performance. And the fact that it's built on SQL Server, which is something I'm not sure everyone always appreciates, that it's the same code base, means that it's a familiar platform to our developers, means that it integrates with existing monitoring and audit capabilities, which, again, gives us faster time to market. The fact that it is built, again, for these really tight RTOs and RPOs within region capabilities as well as geo-replicas. And again, the fact that it's built on a future-forward platform. You know, vector embeddings are now table stakes for every platform we run. And the ability to store those vectors and run semantic search within the same platform that we're storing our data is critical, rather than bringing the data out. And so building on a platform that brings all of those capabilities has really allowed us to hit every one of our requirements to start building core Aladdin components.
Awesome, awesome.
Yep.
Thanks a lot, Britt. You have been a great partner.
Yeah.
Thanks you so much.
Likewise. Thank you.
So you heard it, right? So Britt mentioned one point, which is familiar. And I really want to touch upon that point once again. It is a familiar platform. Azure SQL Database Hyperscale, again, please don't get deviated by the name, is a familiar platform, and it can be used for any small application to an enterprise-ready application. You can start building your AI applications right from Hyperscale. It is AI-ready, it is scalable, it has the best security. Man, if you ask me if you need to know about one single database, it is Azure SQL Database Hyperscale. With that, Anna, you want to close?
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Thanks, Aditya. I think that was great. What do you guys think? Did you guys learn something? Awesome. That's great. Some great scenarios from our customers and the scenario with the awesome demo. Thanks. You know, when we think about Microsoft SQL, like Aditya said, while he thinks Azure SQL Hyperscale is the only database you need to know, we're here, ground to cloud to fabric. And I just want to make sure you came to this session and you got to know across the suite, what are we working on? So this is the one slider of everything we're announcing this week at Microsoft Ignite. One of the things I want to point out is how we are innovating across ground to cloud to fabric. So vector indexing, which Aditya spoke about and you saw a demo about, that is available across ground to cloud to fabric. So this really helps us not just say, hey, you develop once, you deploy anywhere, but like we're really committed to that one SQL vision for you to help you innovate in that way. A couple other things I want to call out. Immutable long-term backups for Azure SQL Database when generally available. This is a long-standing customer ask. We're excited to see that. Obviously, you heard about SQL Server 2025 and SQL Database and Fabric, some things there. Mirroring across SQL Server, all older versions in support, and SQL Server 2025 went GA, along with some new migration experiences. From the tooling side, again, same tooling works across the suite of services. SSMS 22 went GA, along with some new enhancements for GitHub Copilot in VS Code, our MS SQL extension, and in SSMS. Lots of other stuff happening. We are always innovating. We're a team that's listening to you, so we definitely want your feedback. Two more kind of small announcements for you before we release you to go hopefully get a nice beverage at the hub. Is we recently, as in like just last week, announced a new SQL AI developer certificate. And the reason for this is that we are going on this AI journey, and we want you to come with us, and we want your teams to come with us, and we want to make sure that we do it together, and we make sure everybody feels good and certified and prepared for this. So,
this is something I'm really, really excited about.
do you think you'll pass?
Yeah, I think so.
I think I'll have to study.
Yeah.
But anyways, this is something we're really excited about. It's coming in spring 2026. And another thing we're excited about, and you guys are people who love SQL. I could just feel it. You're here at 5 p.m. at the end of a long day. So I want to make sure I mention the Microsoft SQL Community Conference. We just announced this also last week. This is our first ever SQLCon, as we're calling it. It's co-located with the Fabric Community Conference if you're also dealing with FabCon. It's in Atlanta. It's going to be great. We're really excited. We're going to have 50 sessions on SQL. So here, you'll catch a couple sessions on SQL. There, you can catch 50. So tell your friends and come join us in Atlanta next spring. But of course, Ignite is just day one. So you can come see us throughout the week. These are all the sessions we're running this week, including one lab that's around building AI apps with Azure SQL Hyperscale. And there's also a lab for building AI apps with SQL Database and Fabric. So if you want to get on hands with some of this stuff, please do that. Check out our sessions. Come find us at the booth. We're really here to connect from you, learn from your stories, and who knows, maybe next year you'll be on stage with us talking about your cool story with Microsoft SQL. All right, so a bunch of resources here. I think the biggest one, I don't even know if I could pick, but there are lots of resources for you to learn more. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. I know there's just a few minutes left, so we'll go ahead and kind of close the session, but Aditya and I will stick around for any questions that you have. We can just kind of close it. You can come up and ask us questions. We'll take them. But thank you so much, and have a great rest of your Microsoft Ignite.
Thank you. Thank you so much for a great audience. Thank you.